Late Night Health continues with our next guest. We're going to talk about dine.com with Anita Covic. She is a destination specialist for Trip Together, and she has a wonderful background in travel and education. Anita, thanks for joining us here on Late Night Health.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
A lot of people, especially single seniors, if you will, want to travel, but they don't want to travel by themselves. They're not involved with anybody. They're either divorced, a spouse has died, and yet they still have the time, the inclination, and the desire to travel, but they don't want to do it alone. Is that what Trip Together is all about?
Yes, I can tell you more about Trip Together. It's definitely a great social platform, which is connecting travelers around the world. The site itself motivates and inspires travelers across the globe to talk about trips, sites visited, recommendations, and so much more. They can either ask locals for advice or either connect with some of the travel buddies in a certain city and split the cost if they will. So it's not necessarily for people who are single or not. Even in my case, I use Trip Together to travel, especially when I'm on my hectic schedule. And some of my friends, they just don't have time to join me on a trip. Then I go on Trip Together, meet with some people. If they agree with my goals when it comes to traveling, I meet with them, or I just gather local advices so I can have a more enjoyable trip.
So, in other words, if I travel to London and I don't know anybody there and I go by myself, Trip Together can either hook me up with somebody who lives in London or has traveled to London and can give me restaurant, hotel advice, play advice, etc.
So Trip Together is a platform that helps you to connect with members there. And you are the one who is collecting all these advices by communication with people who live in a certain city or are planning to visit a certain city. You share your dates of travel and time, and then you discuss opportunities, such as should we go there together, or if the person is local, then usually locals give the best advices, especially on avoiding all of those touristy traps and introducing you to some relevant people as well. So therefore, it can be, beside of being a great educational tool, it could be a great networking tool as well.
And I have to ask, is travel, a Trip Together, a hookup site? I mean, can there be romance found on Trip Together? Or
it's not. It's strictly travel-oriented site. It's only travel-oriented site. Only for travelers who wants to travel more, who wants to reduce their costs. So it's not a hookup site.
Let's talk about Anita a little bit. You were born in Montenegro.
Correct.
You speak English very well, Italian, Spanish, Serbo-Croatian, and a working knowledge of Portuguese.
Correct.
What other languages are you working on now?
Well, I'm trying to learn Russian now.
Oh my, that is amazing. It's a different.
It might be helpful in communication.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you have a gift for languages, obviously. A lot of people in Europe do, where we in the United States just don't seem to be able to do that. Is traveling to a foreign country and having at least a working knowledge of that that language in that country, like going to France, is that a helpful thing?
Extremely helpful. I'm lucky enough to, I'm a very, as you said, very well-traveled person. So travels did help improve my language. I did learn in school English and Italian as well, but I improved it by coming to the United States, by finishing school, by talking with the people random people on the street, because they don't teach you also slang, Sometimes
Right.
you need to understand it as well.
Exactly. They don't. I know that when my wife and I were in France, her high school and college French really kicked in. I was really great at restaurant menus, but she could talk to the cab drivers or bus drivers and other people about whatever it was that we needed, where I could not.
It is amazing because your subconscious, at least I believe so, starts talking once you're at a certain place, and you learned language previously, you learned some words, but for example, you're in France right now and you're trying to communicate, and it just comes back to you. It's really amazing. Really amazing.
When you're thinking now and talking to me, do you think in English or Croatian?
I think in English. I always think in English. I guess the change comes once you start dreaming in a certain language. I do believe that you kind of got it.
Got it.
But yeah, there are moments when I get tired or I'm just exhausted and I have difficulties speaking in a different language. Not that I don't know it, it's just my brain doesn't function on that level at that point.
When you've maybe been traveling too much.
Maybe. Yeah.
Do you travel? I mean, you travel a lot for Trip Together?
Well, I did travel a lot through Trip Together, and as well, I was representative as one of the locals in my country. For example, I would I would communicate with members of Trip Together and gave them advices, what places should they visit once they come to Montenegro. I didn't necessarily meet with them, but I believe they had amazing time if they followed my advices, which I'm certainly they did.
So if I wanted to join Trip Together, I could join and say, because I'm in Southern California, hey, reach out to me and I can, tell you about great places to visit or restaurants, other sites, and where to stay away from.
Yes, exactly. Or you can find a travel partner and agree to pool your resources. For example, if you want to come to New York City and you want to pool your resources with your travel partner and stay together in a nicer place, in a hotel, let's say, you can coordinate your travel dates, destination, or just pull economies of scale when purchasing certain tickets for your activities. Therefore, I truly believe this is the way to, cost-effective way and more interesting way to travel.
I recently went on a little trip with my wife during the Thanksgiving holidays, and went to one of the travel sites and booked a hotel room. Had I known in advance, I would not have booked that hotel room because it was ucky, okay, and it was dirty. It was just not a good place. And we went away for 2 or 3 nights, and I was very upset with it. I complained to the management, and they couldn't do anything, and they said that's how it is. Are these and the rating? The rating that the site gave that hotel was like 4 stars above what I personally would have given it. Are there ratings on Trip Together on hotels and restaurants and activities?
Well, there are, I could say it like this. Locals are the one who evaluate, and they can offer you valuable advices. Let's say on best hotels to stay, or even where to rent a good apartment, nice stay, or local restaurants, nightlife. Therefore, I think this is really useful because there's no hidden, idea behind it. They truly want to help, and I do believe that travel is definitely more exciting and safer when it's shared with another person.
And of course, at the same time, having, the reviews that you see, I guess, on Trip Together would be different than some of the sites that, if you pay a lot of money, you get a better review. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. It makes sense, but I always beat myself with the thought that we have so many satisfied members on our site and successful stories that I don't really pay attention to those as much as many people do go, as you said, on these sites and they look at the comments, but that doesn't sometimes represent a true picture of certain hotel, site, restaurant, and et cetera, and et cetera.
How many countries have you personally visited?
Inside of United States or Europe?
Yes. Asia too.
I cannot give you the precise number. Let's say I've been to every continent. Yeah.
Oh my, that's amazing. And you're a young person too. You spent a lot of time here in the U.S. You went to high school here, and then you hold a master's degree from Webster University in St. Louis, Missouri.
Correct. I lived there.
And you lived in St. Louis.
Yes, I did. I lived in America.
You live in New York now.
I live in New York. Correct.
Right. What is the one thing that you miss from Montenegro that you can't get in New York or St. Louis?
I guess the laid-back lifestyle, and mom's cuisine. Everything is more, I would say, tomato tastes as a tomato. Let me put it that way. Even though I love America, I love its culture, nothing beats mom's cuisine.
What is the cuisine in Montenegro?
It's more Mediterranean, sort of Italian, mixture of Greeks and Italian cuisine. A lot of cooked meals, a lot of fish, pizza.
Hummus,
why not? Many different cultures, have been through all the countries of former Yugoslavia. We've been affected by so many different influences, Turkish, Italian, German, and etc. And you can feel it in our culture, you can feel it in our cuisine, you can feel it once you arrive there and walk through the old cities, 20 centuries old cities. Yes.
Which you can't do here in the United States. I mean, you can go back a couple of centuries, but you can't go back thousands of years.
Correct. That's why I'm here to sort of guide and educate my Trip Together buddies on all these countries that have not been so popular, but right now, they're rising and they're very attractive tourist destinations.
Gotcha. Well, we're going to take some time out. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Anita. We invite you to go to latenighthealth.com. We'll have a picture of Anita up there and information about Trip Together as well. I'm Mark Alyn. Go to Late Night Health and take the time to sign up for our new newsletter. Go to latenighthealth.com. All right, Anita and I and the insane Daryl Wayne return right after this. Don't go away.
Are you paying too much for auto insurance or looking for coverage? Do you know which insurance company has the lowest rates? Call 800-708-5063 now, and instead of searching through hundreds of insurance companies, let us do the work for you and match you with the one company that meets your auto insurance needs. Best of all, our service is free. Did you know that you should be shopping for new rates every year? Because as your driving record improves, you will continue to qualify for more discounts. We Speak Insurance is your one source for matching you with the best auto insurance. And you can still take advantage of all available discounts, saving you hundreds over your current plan. Even if you don't have the best driving record, We Speak Insurance, so you'll get the coverage you need by calling now. 800-708-5063. 800-708-5063. That's 800-708-5063. 800-708-5063.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now.
800-419-2201. 800-419-2201. 800-419-2201. That's 800-419-2201.
This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details. Not available in all states.